All right, good afternoon, UI. It's a massive honor for me to be here. You know, I do not take this invitation lightly. I must tell you that I've learned hugely as I sat back there listening. What I do really is to tell marketing stories. And that's what I've done for the better part of 3 decades plus. I enjoy working with brands, and I do hope that the stories I'll be telling today will inspire somebody or will inspire a number of people. If I borrow the principle, the Pareto principle that talks about the 80-20 principle, I do imagine that what you have come here to do today is not only to listen to stories that will excite you, but that will also intrigue something in you, and then bring out what I hope will be seeds that can turn into businesses. The latest data that I've seen, I see many data from time to time about businesses, about the economy, about people, about markets. But one of the interesting data I've seen lately that I think I should also share with you is one that talks about the unemployment rate in Nigeria. The latest figure that I have talks about the national unemployment rate in Nigeria at 18.8%. My friends at Financial Derivatives Limited in Lagos have also projected that number to go to about 21.5% by the end of this year. What does that mean? What it means is that 1 in every 5 Nigerians will be unemployed. That's a massive number, okay? If you take that to the youth unemployment rate, it's even more scary, all right? So what I've come to speak to today, hopefully, is to engineer a new band of entrepreneurs that can take the world by storm and begin to change the narrative about Nigeria and indeed our youth. The question that you need to ask yourself, and obviously I'm going to also be asking you, is what are you going to do with these numbers? These very scary numbers about unemployment in Nigeria. And I think everybody here should do something about it. And one of the things that you can do about it is to enroll for entrepreneurship, which is what I think that if there's anything that you want to take away from here today, is this enrollment into entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship has a way of releasing the energy and the gifting and the talents that each of us do have, not only to fill ourselves, but also to help others to find their own voices, which is what I think I would like to speak to today. I'm not sure if 18 minutes will help, will be enough to do it, but I will manage, I'll try. Now, if you move, the question that needs to be asked is that, is there a challenge with the Nigerian soil? I'm sure that all of you will be asking questions around, you know, and in our private discussions, we hear things about Nigeria is doomed. There are no prospects in this country. Everybody's looking for the best opportunity to get out of Nigeria, isn't it? You're familiar with those stories. You're familiar with people telling you that, look, it's difficult to make it in this environment, okay? But I am coming with a different narrative. I'll tell you the truth, not because I'm an entrepreneur, but because I also believe that Nigeria presents the best opportunities for success and prosperity. It's a strange sermon, but I preach it. All right? Why do I say so? You will see that there are a few brands listed here. Okay? I'm not sure of how many people who are familiar with the story of Bond Bank. There used to be a bank called Bond Bank. All right? Now, this bank and GTB were almost cultured, almost templated in the same way. terms of the architecture, in terms of the look and feel, in terms of the promise that they bring to the marketplace. But Bond Bank is dead. GT Bank is standing, is it? There used to be an airline brand called Albarca. I'm sure we're familiar with that, all right? This brand is dead now, but there's a brand called Airpeace that has just, about 2 weeks ago, ordered and paid for about 16 brand new aircraft to do business in Nigeria. There used to be a brand called Chicken George. I think that the whole story around fast food business started with this brand, Chicken George. And interestingly, that brand started business late in Ibadan. Yeah. Their first outlet was at Dubai, somewhere there. That brand is dead now, but Mr. Biggs, as I was coming to town, I saw the latest outlet that they opened at Challenge, correct? Mr. Biggs is still doing business, okay? So, we also had a brand called Financial Standard, a financial publication that started out very well, but somehow got consumed. And then, whilst that brand is dead today, you have Business Day doing phenomenally well. So the question is there a challenge with Nigerian soil? There isn't. All right, let's go on. The question is, let me also illustrate this point with 3 other brands. Okay, I'm sure many of us are familiar with Off and Tumble, correct? You're familiar with Computer Warehouse. You're familiar with ABC Transport. These businesses are Nigerian businesses owned by Nigerian entrepreneurs. And if you go back to the story of each of these brands, the narratives are usually the same. Some fellow had an idea, had a seed business idea, all right, and decided to nurture the idea, and then the idea began to grow. In the context of time, where these 3 brands I've talked about now, played, a number of their competitors also played. But you know what? Some of those are dead, but these are thriving. Then you now begin to ask yourself, really, what does it take to nurture a brand in any market, and in fact, in the Nigerian market? So I'm going to be speaking to that quickly. Let's go. So skip all of this so that I can manage our time properly. So these are the issues around. I'm going to leave this behind so you can catch up on the stay here. So the question I'm asking, and I'm going to be speaking to, what are the things, for those of you who have some interesting ideas, business ideas, that you are thinking that you want to pitch at the world, what are the things that you need to watch out for? What are the guiding principles that are important to take the business to a lofty height? Okay? The first one is the foundational. What is the seed idea? If you look at the three businesses that I skipped, talking about in detail, first was ABC, Frank Eneji in Nigeria. When he started the business, he was in his 20s, and I mean 20s, all right? So he finished school, and then he was coming to Lagos from the east, and then he boarded Ekene Dilichukwu, which was sat down, and he articulated what his own response was going to be to those shortfall, and that led to the birth of ABC. Today, in that space, ABC is #1. All right? He was the first guy that employed graduates as drivers of his buses. He was the first guy that introduced music and videos while traveling in buses. He was the first guy that made sure that the experience that you're going to have, the 8 hours you're going to spend in his bus, was delightful and exciting. So he changed the narrative. He changed the picture of what typically people were used to, the market was used to. And then today is #1. What he's doing now has gone even beyond passenger, delivery. It's gone into big time logistics and haulage. This man now services customers not only in Nigeria but in the West African region. All right. So what's the seed idea? I tell you the truth, there is anybody in this room that does not have one idea that can be converted into business. What are you doing with it? Next. Now, the journey into entrepreneurship is not just about having an idea, my friends. It goes beyond that. This guy that you're seeing here in this shot is late now. His name was Idowu Akerolabo. Anybody know him? Okay. Akerolabo was a student at Ife. All right, I think he was studying Greek or something. Okay, and then I think it was in his third year, on one of the field visits that he had to make into the farm and all of that, he got bitten by an insect, and then what happened was that he became sick. They took him to Louth. At Louth, he became paralyzed, and then over time, he realized that there wasn't motion, he couldn't move any part of his body. The only area that there was life was on his head. Amazing. Okay, so he got trained to use his mouth to paint. Before this man died, he was winning several awards all over the places. He became very, very financially successful, and he got married. Okay, so the point I'm making is that if you're going to go into entrepreneurship, you need to have the mindset that says it is either I succeed or nothing else. All right? So that's how businesses are nurtured. It's not just a fanciful walk in the park. Entrepreneurship is a serious game, and if you're going to do it well, you need to have this kind of mindset. The third thing I'm going to talk about is every business has what I call its own trade secret. There is none that does not have one secret or the other. And by that I mean that there must be something peculiarly unique about what you're offering. Okay? If your idea is easy to commoditize, then it doesn't stand a chance to travel far. Alright? So you need to build into it. And some of my friends who are here from TEDxUI FM, by the way, who understand how much of effort that we've made to build a major difference between what we offer and what the other 26 stations in Ibadan offer, and clearly it's already showing. We're only about 8 or 9 months old, and in fact the market is already failing us. Numbers are already showing, the awards are already coming in. So you need to build into your business idea, a unique weapon or several weapons that can stand you out from the crowd. Then of course, there is also a need to understand that, before any business becomes physical, it is first perceptual. All right, so in the mind of the market, you must understand that some level of assessment goes on. And because that assessment is going on, and it's not necessarily physical and tangible alone, it's also perceptual. People are feeling you. All right. So several years ago, I was doing some consulting for ICANN, all right, the professional body of accountants, and then they invited me to a talk like this one, where they gathered all their leaders, and I was speaking. And then I took a look at 2 major professional bodies in Nigeria, and I was trying to illustrate the magic in marketing, that there's a need for every brand to have some element of magic built into it. So what does that mean? I took a look at what they had and what Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors had as their website. I mean, I can't go into the details of this now, but let me also make the point that, and this is with due respect to the guys who are here studying either accounting or estate survey or whatever it is, okay? Due respect, okay? So, but the point I'm making is that you can see the website that you see on the left is ICANN's website. This was the website of these other guys then. I don't know if they have changed it. You can see the difference in terms of how these 2 brands were presented on the web. And little wonder, you could see that ICANN has some level of premiumness around it, all right, compared to these other guys, all right. So every business must understand that there is a need to to borrow the magic that is available in marketing, and that's very crucial. Now, you also must get to understand that there are parables in the marketplace. All right? I'm sure many of us go to Bodija market. All right? Some go to Dubai and a few other markets. There are lessons to be taken from those markets. And if you are not one that listen to those parables, you pay dearly. Truth of the matter is that in my sojourn in marketing, I've come to understand that the consumer is really to be worshipped. All right? What does that mean? You don't create a brand for your own mojo. All right? You create a brand because there are guys who are partying with money, willing to pay. All right? And therefore, you must understand exactly what they feel, what they want. So if you go to the marketplace, you see that at play effectively all the time. And therefore, it's important that you understand that, markets are top masters. You must learn to serve the markets, otherwise you won't survive. Some of the businesses I talked about earlier at the beginning of my story, you could see that they didn't understand the need to serve the market, and that was why some of them fell out of line. Now, as young entrepreneurs, it's important that you also understand that there's a need to conquer yourself. Why? If you have not conquered yourself, you cannot conquer anything. All right? If you have not conquered yourself, you cannot conquer anything. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When I left paid employment, I realized that it was important for me to shed some financial weight. All right? If the young businesses that I was birthing were going to succeed at all. Okay, so I took a massive pay cut. Some of the devices and suspicions that I had to discontinue them. All right? Some of the luxuries that I was used to, that the company that I was working for, was giving me, I had to share them off. And in time, I began to realize that it was meaningful, because if I brought the appetite that I was used to in paid employment to the young businesses that I was nurturing, I was going to consume those businesses, and it paid off. So it's important that we also understand the principle of delayed gratification, that you're starting businesses, today, you cannot unleash your appetite on the businesses, otherwise you'll kill the business. This talks about innovation, and I mean, I'm talking to millennials, so this shouldn't be difficult to understand. Okay? As you launch your businesses today, tomorrow, in another 1 year, this is one thing that you must pay attention to. And I'll illustrate the importance of this by telling this story. In the 60s, the Swiss were the masters of watchmaking. As a matter of fact, they were the gods of watches and clocks. And usually every year, the world will gather in Switzerland to come and see what was the latest thing, what was the latest invention. And then everybody will say, wow, this has happened, this is going to change the world and all of that. And there was this particular year, I think it was in 1967 or something. And then they had this conference, as they normally have it. There was an invention that was going to change the world. It's got to do with the electronic watches. And then somebody put it on the show. And everybody was going around it. The Swiss were saying, no, this has no future. There's no future ahead of this invention. Everyone in Switzerland was dismissing the potential of the electronic technology, in watchmaking, in clockmaking. Then the Asians came, and then they saw it, and they saw the magic. They understand what that meant for the world, and then they approached the Swiss. I said, listen guys, we are interested in this, your technology. They said, you can buy it if you want, we're not kidding about it. And the Asians put their money on it, and then they took it away. That led to the advent of brands like Seiko. And then today, the rest is history. In the 60s and the 70s, the Swiss had about 70% market share of the entire watch and clock making globally. But in as little as 5 years, that story changed. Again, because they didn't pay attention to innovation. All right, so what I'm saying is that as businesses, it's important that we pay attention to innovation and indeed worship it. Yeah. Now, this is very crucial as well. As you build businesses, it's important that you also understand that business must be beyond you. Build teams. It is the teams that are important, not necessarily the founder of the business alone. All right. So it's important that we pay attention to that and build a team that's united, that is cohesive. That will serve you as a business. Now, give back is important. I mean, I don't need to preach this a lot. It's important that, if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur, you must understand the principle of giving back. And giving back is not only about money, it's about time, it's about resources, it's about sharing, it's about doing everything to show that you have benefited, and it's important that you also want to give back, to the space. Yeah. Now, this I'm sure that we all can connect with. I mean, all of these things I've said are important. All of that, the stories I've told you from the beginning are crucial, but also there is a God factor in all that we do as human beings. So I think that this is crucial. Now, all I've said today, I must say that there's one more thing that I need to say before I leave. No matter how brilliant or how huge your idea may seem to be, the more frightening the ideas are, the more seemingly unattainable the ideas are, the better and loftier those ideas. If people are telling you that this thing is not possible, it's too big, it can't be done, then you are seemingly on the right path. If your ideas are too easy to attain, then you need to look at it again and evaluate. Now, this is one of my biggest quotes, and I put this everywhere I go. Right? It says, most of the things worth doing in the world have been declared impossible before they were done. So if you have an idea that anybody is putting down, who are saying it's not possible to do, can't be attained, this country is not right for it, you're on the right track. Your idea may be the idea that will change the entire universe, not only Nigeria, and change the course of history. I've enjoyed, being with you guys, and I truly, truly cherish the platform. Thank you.
Let's put a